The estate was not cursed, but it might as well have been. At least, that is what the neighboring counties whispered. Black stone rising from a cliffside. Iron gates that groaned in the wind. Windows tall and narrow like watchful eyes. It had once been a fortress, then a home, then something in between. And now, it was a test. The Duke had not meant for it to become one. But when you send letters seeking a wife, and you include your estate's true name and location, people imagine things. He had sent 12 letters. Not to noble houses known for ambition, not to political allies, but to families known for steadiness, practicality, resilience. His letter had been simple. I seek a wife not for ornament, but for partnership. You will find no excess here. You will find structure. You will find work. If that deters you, do not come. Most came anyway. Curiosity outweighs caution. The first arrived in silk the color of morning sky. Her carriage wheels trembled slightly as they approached the cliffs. She stepped out confidently, until she looked up. The estate towered above her. Not beautiful, not charming, imposing. The sea crashed violently against rocks below. Wind howled through iron railings. She did not stay the night. The second arrived with 2 maids and a mother. They walked the halls politely, smiled carefully, asked about gardens. There were none. Asked about salons. There were none. Asked about music rooms. None. There was a library, a study, a war room, a dining hall built for strategy rather than spectacle. She left before dinner. The third did not enter at all. She saw the gates, and asked the driver to turn back. By the 7th letter, word had spread. The Duke was cold. The estate was bleak. There were rumors of tragedy, of isolation, of something unsaid. None of it was true. But the estate was honest. It did not flatter. It did not soften itself. And neither did he. He did not escort the ladies personally on arrival. He observed from distance. If they turned back, he let them. If they entered, he waited. He did not attempt to charm them into staying. He did not promise renovation. He did not promise change. He wanted someone who could stand there, and not shrink. The 11th left in tears. Not because he was cruel, but because she said the walls felt heavy. They do not breathe, she whispered. They were not built to, he replied. She left before dawn. He did not send her away. She fled. The 12th letter was answered by someone unexpected. Not a titled daughter. Not a polished heiress. A modest envelope. Plain wax seal. Careful handwriting. Your Grace, I have no dowry worth boasting. I have no taste for extravagance. I do not fear stone or wind. If you are honest about what you seek, I will be honest in return. He read it twice. Not because it was romantic, but because it was unadorned. She signed only her name. Eleanor. No family crest. No embellishment. The carriage that arrived 3 weeks later was modest. 1 trunk. No accompanying relatives. No attendants. The driver helped her step down. The wind caught her cloak immediately. She did not flinch. She looked up, and did not pale. The gates creaked open. She walked forward without being prompted. Inside, the estate was dimmer than most homes. High ceilings. Long corridors. Echoes. He watched from the upper landing. She did not look lost. She studied. Measured. Not intimidated. Not impressed. Just observant. The housekeeper approached her cautiously. Miss Eleanor? Yes. You understand this estate is isolated. Yes. You understand there is no city nearby. Yes. You understand winter is harsh. Yes. And you still came. Yes. The repetition was calm, unbothered. The housekeeper glanced upward briefly. He descended the staircase slowly. Measured steps. Boots echoing across stone. She turned toward the sound. He studied her carefully. She was not dressed to impress. Her gown was simple but clean. Her posture upright. Her gaze steady. You came, he said. Yes. You saw the cliffs. Yes. You saw the gates. Yes. And you did not leave. No. Silence stretched. Most filled it with nervousness. She did not. You wrote that you did not fear stone or wind, he said. I do not. Why? They are honest. The answer caught him slightly off guard. Honest. Yes. They do not pretend to be soft. The words lingered. You do not find this estate unwelcoming? It is not warm, she said calmly. But neither is it false. The housekeeper stiffened slightly at the directness. He did not. You understand others left, he said. Yes. Why do you think they did? They expected romance, she replied. And you do not. I expect truth. The statement was neither defensive nor bold. Simply clear. He stepped closer. Not close enough to intimidate. Just enough to measure presence. You have no family accompanying you. No. No protection. I do not require it. You are aware I am still a stranger. Yes. And you came alone. Yes. Why? She met his gaze fully. Because you asked for someone who would not shrink. The air shifted slightly. You believe you will not. I know I will not. There was no arrogance in the statement. Just quiet certainty. You have not seen the North Wing, he said. I have not. It is colder. I have known cold. You have not seen the cliff path in winter. I have walked worse. You have not seen the storm walls. I will. Silence again. You are not intimidated, he said. No. Why? Because intimidation is often noise. And this is structure. The answer settled heavily. He watched her closely. Most women who had come looked at the estate and saw absence. She looked at it and saw framework. You do not fear isolation? He asked. No. Why? Because isolation is different from emptiness. The distinction lingered. You think this place is not empty, he said. It is waiting. The word landed with unexpected force. Waiting. He had not considered that. He had considered endurance, maintenance, survival. But waiting? You believe it can change, he said. No, you do not. It does not need to. The simplicity of that response unsettled him more than admiration would have. You would not alter it. I would understand it first. Silence stretched between them. The wind howled faintly against the far windows. The estate did not soften itself for her. And she did not ask it to. You are not impressed, he observed. No. You are not frightened. No. You are not eager. No. What are you? She paused only briefly. Present. The word echoed through the high ceiling. He studied her carefully. The 12th letter had not promised charm. It had promised honesty. And here she stood. Not fleeing. Not flattering. Not shrinking. He turned slightly toward the housekeeper. Prepare the guest chamber. The housekeeper blinked. You are staying? He asked Eleanor. Yes. Despite what you have seen. Yes. Despite what others said. Yes. Despite what you expected. Yes. You expected something else? He asked quietly. I expected rumor. And you found. Stone. Silence. And you are not disappointed. No. Why? Because stone can hold. The answer was not romantic. It was practical. Grounded. He nodded once. Very well, he said. You may stay. She inclined her head slightly. Thank you. Not gratitude for rescue. Acknowledgement of arrangement. The wind rattled the high windows again. The estate remained dark. Unchanged. But for the first time, someone had entered its gates and not run. And he felt. Not relief. Not triumph. But something quieter. Curiosity. The estate does not soften itself for guests. It does not brighten corridors unnecessarily. It does not hide its drafts. Eleanor notices this immediately. Her chamber is modest, but not neglected. A heavy wooden bed. A writing desk. A narrow window overlooking the cliffside. When the housekeeper leaves her alone, she does not sit. She explores. The halls stretch long and echoing, lined not with portraits of smiling ancestors, but with maps, naval routes, trade lines, border markings. The Duke's estate is not decorative. It is defensive, strategic. She pauses in front of a large coastal map, carved directly into the wall near the study. You study geography, she says quietly behind him. He does not turn immediately. I study threats. The Duke stands near the fire in the study, coat removed, sleeves rolled slightly. He does not look surprised to find her there. You walk loudly, he adds. I do not, she replies calmly. You do in stone corridors. She absorbs that. Why maps, she asks. Because this estate was built to protect a coastline. And now, it protects nothing. The statement is blunt. Nothing, she asks. Not from invasion. Not from trade. Not from politics. Then why maintain it? He turns slightly toward her voice. Because it is mine. Ownership, not sentiment. You withdrew from court, she says carefully. Yes. Why? Silence stretches. Most who had visited did not ask. They assumed. She waits. Because spectacle requires patience for dishonesty. He replies evenly. And you lack it? Yes. The fire crackles softly. You sent letters seeking a wife, she says. Yes. That requires tolerance for dishonesty. Yes. And yet you sent them. Yes. Why? Because isolation is efficient, but not sustainable. The honesty is clean. She nods slowly. You do not wish for ornament, she says. No. You do not wish for charm. No. You wish for structure. Yes. And presence. He pauses slightly. Yes. Silence falls again. You do not fear this estate, he says. No. You do not attempt to warm it. No. Why? Because warmth must be earned. The words land quietly. He studies her face carefully. You are not romantic, he observes. No. You are not intimidated. No. You are not flattered. No. What are you? She meets his gaze fully. Still here. The answer is simple. He turns back toward the map. You may leave at any time, he says. I know. I will not prevent you. I know. Others left because they expected transformation. I expected weather. A faint shift in his posture. You understand storms here are violent, he says. I grew up inland, she replies calmly. I understand storms. The wind outside begins to rise as if summoned by conversation. A low howl against the stone. He glances briefly toward the tall window. Tonight will test you, he says quietly. Why? Because the cliffs amplify wind. And the walls tremble. She does not move. Do they fall? No. Then I do not tremble. The storm begins before dusk fully settles. Clouds gather thick and fast. The sea roars against the rocks below. The estate's iron gates shriek under pressure. Eleanor stands at the window of her chamber, watching lightning strike the distant water. It is not beautiful. It is violent. Alive. She feels something unexpected. Not fear. Recognition. This estate does not pretend calm. It withstands chaos. A sharp knock at her door interrupts her thoughts. The housekeeper. The Duke asks that you remain in your chamber during the storm. Why? For safety. Is the estate unsafe? No. Then I will walk. The housekeeper hesitates. He does not wish you injured. I will not be. She steps into the corridor. The wind shakes the windows as if testing them. She follows the echo of boots toward the north wing. He stands near a high stone arch overlooking the cliffside path. Rain lashes against the glass. You were told to remain, he says without turning. Yes. And you did not. No. You understand lightning strikes near this cliff. Yes. You understand the path below erodes in storms. Yes. And you came. Yes. Silence. The walls groan slightly under wind pressure. Why, he asks. Because if I am to stay here, I must understand it. And if it frightens you, then I will decide tomorrow. The answer is steady. The wind roars harder. A sharp crack echoes from somewhere outside. A section of railing on the cliff path splinters and disappears into the dark. She does not flinch. He hears the change in wind pattern. You did not gasp, he says. No. You did not retreat. No. You do not fear this place. No. Why? She considers her answer carefully. Because it does not lie. The words carry into the storm. Court lies, she continues softly. People smile when they intend retreat. They flatter when they intend gain. This place does not flatter. The lightning flashes. For a brief moment, the cliffside is illuminated in violent white. You do not wish for softness, she says. You wish for reliability. Silence. Why did you truly withdraw? She asks. The question is not accusatory. Just clear. He inhales slowly. Because I trusted someone who valued spectacle over substance. The admission is quiet. She wished renovation. He continues. Gardens. Salons. Mirrors. And she wished to be admired more than she wished to stand. And you? I wish to build. The wind slams against the window harder. You were betrayed, Eleanor says softly. Yes. The word is simple. Unadorned. And now you test. Yes. You sent letters not to find beauty. No. You sent them to measure endurance. Yes. And most failed. Yes. Do you wish me to endure? No. The answer surprises her. No, she repeats. No. Then what? I wish you to remain because you choose to. The storm surges again. You do not fear I will leave tomorrow? She asks. Yes. The honesty lands sharply. You fear it, she presses. Yes. Why? Because this estate remains stone regardless. And you? He pauses. I am less certain. Lightning splits the sky again. The wind howls violently through the outer courtyard. Eleanor steps closer to the window beside him. Not touching, just present. You assume I will leave, she says. I assume nothing. You expect retreat. Yes. And if I do not, then I will adjust. To what? To presence. The word lingers between them. The storm reaches its height. Rain slams against stone. The estate groans, but does not crack. Eleanor stands steady. Minutes stretch. Then slowly, the wind begins to weaken. The sea still rages, but less violently. You did not run, he says quietly. No. You did not hide. No. You did not ask for reassurance. No. Why? Because reassurance implies doubt. And you have none? I have caution, she replies. But not doubt. The storm fades into steady rain. Silence returns slowly to the estate. He turns fully toward her now. You remain, he says. Yes. Not because you are proving something. No. Not because you are enduring. No. Then why? She meets his gaze. Because I see foundation. The words settle deep. And you do not mistake foundation for coldness, he says. No. The rain softens further. The estate stands. Unchanged. But something inside its walls has shifted. Not softened. Not romantic. But recognized. You may leave at any time, he says again. I know. And you still remain. Yes. The word is not dramatic. It is final. For tonight. And for the first time since he sent the letters. He does not count how many days until departure. He counts. Possibility. Morning does not arrive gently. It arrives clear. The storm leaves behind salt-scrubbed air and fractured driftwood below the cliffs. The estate stands. Unmoved. Eleanor wakes before the household bell. She dresses simply. No attempt at impression. No attempt at performance. When she steps into the corridor, she expects quiet. Instead, she hears voices. Not staff. Visitors. She follows the sound toward the great hall. The Duke stands at the long stone table, coat fastened, posture formal. Across from him, 3 women, well-dressed, polished, and visibly uneasy. You did not dismiss the remaining letters, Eleanor says quietly from the doorway. He turns slightly. No. The women glance toward her. Their expressions sharpen. Curiosity. Assessment. Competition. I informed them of the estate's condition, he says evenly. They insisted on seeing for themselves. The 3 ladies exchanged nervous glances. The northern railing had collapsed during the storm. The sea still roars below. The estate smells faintly of wet stone. You arrived this morning? Eleanor asks calmly. Yes, one replies tightly. We assumed the rumors exaggerated. They did not, the Duke says. Silence stretches. You have seen the hall, he continues. The cliffs. The storm walls. One woman forces a small laugh. It is austere. Yes. Surely there are plans to soften it. No. The word lands firm. The 3 women glance again toward Eleanor. You remained during the storm? One asks her. Yes. You were not frightened? No. You must be braver than you appear. I am practical, Eleanor replies. The women shift subtly. Practical is not the word they hoped for. The Duke steps back slightly. This is your final opportunity, he says calmly. I will not alter the estate. I will not relocate to court. I will not provide spectacle. Silence. And affection? One of the women presses. He does not hesitate. Affection is earned. The air tightens. And if none remain, another asks. Then none remain. The women look at the windows. At the sea. At the stone. The first clears her throat. I believe my father would not approve of such isolation. The second nods quickly. I had not realized the cliffs were so severe. The third hesitates longer. Then bows slightly. I wish you well, Your Grace. Within minutes. The great hall empties again. The doors close. The carriage wheels retreat. Eleanor remains where she stands. You staged this, she says quietly. Yes. Why? To see whether you would resent competition. I do not. To see whether you would retreat when others arrived. I did not. To see whether you would measure yourself against them. I did not. He turns fully toward her. You did not attempt to impress. No. You did not attempt to undermine. No. You did not attempt to claim. No. What did you do? Stood. The word echoes through the hall. He steps closer. You understand, he says quietly, that remaining here means forfeiting proximity to court. Yes. It means fewer visitors. Yes. It means storms. Yes. It means work. Yes. You do not ask for title? No. You do not ask for transformation? No. What do you ask for? She considers carefully. Shared foundation. The phrase settles heavily. And if I fail to provide warmth? He asks. Stone can hold, she replies. The echo of her earlier words lingers between them. He studies her for a long moment. You are not romantic, he says. No. You are not dazzled. No. You are not intimidated. No. You are not seeking elevation. No. What are you seeking? She steps closer now. Not timid. Not bold. Just certain. Continuity. He absorbs that. Explain. I do not wish to rescue you, she says evenly. I do not wish to soften you. I do not wish to reshape this estate. I wish to build within it. Silence. Most who came wanted to replace. She continues softly. I do not. The wind brushes lightly against the tall windows. Not violent. Not threatening. Present. You would remain, he says quietly. Yes. Without demand. Yes. Without illusion. Yes. Why? She meets his gaze fully. Because this place does not pretend. And neither do you. The honesty is simple. Clean. He steps closer still. Close enough that the distance between them feels intentional. You understand what partnership means here, he says. Yes. Not ornament. No. Not distraction. No. Responsibility. Yes. Visibility when required. Yes. Silence when needed. Yes. He searches her face. You do not fear the quiet. No. You do not fear the work. No. You do not fear me. No. Why? Because you test without cruelty. The statement lands deeply. He had tested, not to wound, but to measure. And you did not retreat, he says. No. Silence fills the great hall. But it is no longer heavy. It is full. Eleanor, he says quietly. Yes. If you remain here, it will not be as guest. She does not flinch. I understand. It will not be temporary. I understand. It will require loyalty. Yes. And honesty. Yes. And endurance. Yes. He steps closer again. Now only inches separate them. You wrote that you did not fear stone or wind, he says softly. I do not. And you do not fear me. No. And you do not expect me to change. No. Then what do you expect? She holds his gaze steady. That you will build with me. The words settle like foundation stone. He inhales slowly. For the first time, he says quietly, someone entered these gates without wishing to soften them. I do not soften stone, she replies. I shape within it. The phrase shifts something in him. He had guarded the estate as defense. She sees it as framework. You would stay, he says. Yes. Despite the cliffs. Yes. Despite the isolation. Yes. Despite me. She pauses. Not despite you, she corrects. With you. The difference is everything. Silence stretches again. But this time, it is not testing. It is understanding. He lifts his hand slowly. Not commanding. Not urgent. Just offering. Then remain, he says. She places her hand in his. Firm. Steady. No trembling. No hesitation. The estate does not change in that moment. The walls do not warm. The sea does not quiet. But something fundamental shifts. Not romance born of illusion. Not passion born of spectacle. Foundation. Built. Chosen. The gates remain iron. The cliffs remain severe. The storms will return. But this time, when wind howls against stone, two will stand inside it. And neither will run.